Deputy Speaker, on the 20th of September 2001, former President of United States of America, George Bush, declared what became known as the War on Terror on Iraq and Afghanistan, stating that, I quote, "It will not end until every terrorist group of global reach has been found, stopped, and defeated." What followed was a massive disinformation campaign to justify the 2003 invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan under the pretext of locating and destroying weapons of mass destruction. Decades later, no such weapons were ever found. This invasion was about minerals and oil reserves, not weapons of mass destruction. Iraq and Afghanistan have never recovered. Cuba, Libya, Venezuela, and Chile are examples of nations that have suffered from US interventions because of their socialist policies, justified by false intelligence to advance imperialism. Cuba has endured decades of sanctions for nationalization of strategic sectors of the economy, supporting African liberation and socialism, while Libya was destroyed because Gaddafi rejected US dominance. We raise these historical facts because history must guide us in everything we do. When Donald Trump declares that, I open quote, "bad things are happening in South Africa," without evidence, we must not assume that the USA is misinformed. Instead, we must question the real intention behind such statement. After Trump's remarks, the US froze foreign aid globally under the pretext of assessing alignment with the policy outlook. For South Africa, this meant PEPFAR funding of HIV/AIDS response was under threat. On 26 February 2025, the freeze became permanent, terminating funding indefinitely. The US aggression towards South Africa is nothing more than Israel's revenge for our moral stance in support of Palestine. Meanwhile, some of us have been labeled international criminals, a designation used before the West assassinates those who opposed its agenda. Before invading the nations, the US always fabricates human rights violation to justify intervention. Today, same tactics are being used against South Africa. The growing calls by right-wing groups for foreign funding to establish independent states and to be armed by foreign interest must be recognized as part of a broader plan. This is the early stage of economic isolation, leading ultimately to military intervention. Next, AGOA will be terminated, escalating tensions between USA and South Africa. Our government must dismiss opportunistic African and racist groups exploiting US imperialism to fund their racist fantasies of an independent state. That will never happen. We will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refuge in America. Deputy Speaker, Trump and the USA are not demonstrating strength. The USA is merely displaying an advanced stage of capitalism, which is imperialism. Trump engages in transactional and manipulative relationships with the world like it is his backyard. The hostility towards South Africa does not come from fraudulent boers spreading disinformation, but from America's imperialist agenda. The USA, home of the world's most sophisticated intelligence agencies, agencies that fabricate evidence to justify the invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq, and orchestrated the assassination of Muammar Gaddafi, Patrice Lumumba, Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X, cannot now claim to be victims of disinformation from a minor racist group based in Orania. The USA has openly embraced the golden age of imperialism, extending its power through threats and the prevention and termination of foreign aid. In response, our government foolishly seeks to explain our policies to a maniacal president, as if the USA were a victim of misinformation. The USA in the Golden Sachs event of the 27th of February 2025, South Africa President Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa stated, I quote, "Trump got the wrong end of the stick of the country's land policies. I completely reject this notion. The USA, home of Elon Musk's platform, X platform, Jeff Bezos, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Tesla, Starlink, and Silicon Valley, the global hub of data collection, cannot claim to be misinformed. They are the greatest perpetrators of disinformation. The USA is the greatest perpetrator of disinformation. It is now using its own falsehood as justification to attack South Africa. This government refused to acknowledge the real issues. We are being punished for supporting Palestine against apartheid Israel, nothing else. The USA does not believe there is a white genocide or land grabs in South Africa. These lies are useful tools to justify economic aggression and seek to weaken our moral authority to condemn Israel's genocide. Foreign aid has always been a tool for Western imperialism and control. It must end with South Africa. We must expand our trade and strengthen relationship with China, India, Russia, Brazil, and Singapore, while emphasizing African unity. The USA is on a full mission to extort the world into submission, and as a result will become increasingly isolated. Our sovereignty, security, and economic prosperity on rejecting the American Golden Age, a project of imperialism. The world must move forward without USA if true progress is to be achieved. We are not the puppets of the USA. We will never be bullied by Donald Trump and his friends. South Africa remains an independent state, which is not handled by the USA. The majority of South Africans love their whites. They worship them everywhere they go. Why will they kill them? They always seek white validation and affirmation of whiteness. It is a black talent. It is a black talent. It is not a black talent until white people say so. If it is a black skill or innovation, it is not until white say so. If it is black quality product, it will have to pass many hands before they endorse this product. Any political party without white endorsement will never receive any electoral support and financial support until white establishment says so. Like the Cuban people will never give up on our freedom against American imperialism. We must unashamedly continue to stand with Palestine and Russia. We are product of international solidarity. We are Palestinians and they are Africans. We will die shoulder by shoulder with Palestinian people. We will be buried next to their graves because no amount of American bullying and financial dictatorship will separate us. Not even death will succeed. From the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free. We are not product of land theft or genocide. We are not grabbing any land, but claiming what rightfully belongs to us. We are not engaged in what genocide. Instead, we are coexisting with our white murderers. Whatever it takes, this land shall be expropriated and will be returned to its rightful owners. Victory is certain. Hasta la victoria siempre. Are using AfriForum as a scapegoat to punish us politically. And we ought to be very clear about that. When the aid came into South Africa at the first place, it was not to help Africans. It was imperialist forces putting the aid into South Africa so that they can control South Africa. And use that aid to always say to you, if you take a political stand against the imperialist forces, we'll always cut the aid. So we ought to have known even then that we're not supposed to entirely rely on the USA. I'm very happy that the Minister of Health is speaking about possible interventions that can be made to avoid that aid of America. We can do with every help, but we will never accept help that say we must allow the perpetuation of white privilege. We cannot allow the whiteness to prevail in South Africa because we want to save life. We will save life. America did not save us during apartheid. Children were murdered in 1976. Children were murdered in the 80s. Where was America against apartheid? If America had anything to save an African life, it's a lie. They never wanted to save us. They were never there for us before. Palestine was there for us. Cuba was there for us. Russia was there for us. America will never choose friends for us.
Honorable
we will
member,
choose our own
your
friends.
time
Thank
is
you
now
very much.
Okay, this is Kenyan Observer, and welcome from wherever you're watching. Hey, you are at the right place. You are at the right place. Stay tuned. And that's Julius Malema, who was has a briefing his speech at the Parliament of South Africa. And today we all know very well that South Africa and United States are at war, and these are fighting. These two countries are fighting just because of the two key things. First, South Africa joining BRICS, and good relationship between South Africa and Palestine. You know, there has been good relationship between South Africa and Palestine. This has been happening for a very long time, and South Africa things like let me very brief about this, and I don't want to react much on what and repeat what he has said. As he was saying, this we know you very well as a United States, because these are the same tactics that you are using. The same tactics you are using. These are the same tactics you use to invade countries, uh, Afghanistan and Iraq. And if today you ask people why United States invaded such countries like Iraq and Afghanistan, we sometimes believe that they invaded these countries because of their minerals and oils, and create some notions so that they can come and invent and do whatever they wanted with these countries. And today, Malema has talked about a land appropriation. As United States wants, they want to come and give South Africans land title deeds, and they are not coming and giving out these title deeds because they want good for the South Africans, because they want to help Africans, but they know very well but that through this process, this is the only way they can come and invade this country directly and without nothing bounding them, because you will be given that title deed with nothing to eat or nothing to have. You have no job, you have no money, and then the white man will come with his money and ask you to sell out your land. What will you do? You will sell out your land to the white people, and you will remain as a squatter. And that's the only way they will come and dominate your territories, take your land, and make these countries poor. First was a land domination, and when you add to that, it was about poor. The people of South Africa will remain poor because what they have been depending on as the land and producing from this land will be come to an end. Why? Because the land that you are being brainwashed, that you are being given your title deeds, these are the tools that you are going to lose your land and lose everything that you have. So second thing, he has talked about the foreign aids. There were some people, many of people who happily received this statement or this argument of United States withdrawing some this USA in most of the African countries. They never came. These people never came to fund Africans. They never came to fund us, but they came to integrate with the African community, so that when you say something against them, then they're able to pull away their support or their fundings. And that's why Malema has been saying that we don't need your foreign aids no more. African was meant to be a land of every sort of minerals, a fertile land. That's why Africans believe the basket food that can feed the nation, feed the world. That's why I started by the people like Muammar Gaddafi, who was advocating, and what he was trying to advocate to Africa was not only what Malema has been saying. What made me to react on this video is that what Malema has been saying is not something that was needful for only to South Africans, but around the world, around the African continent, because this is something that can happen or can be spread across the African countries and to African countries, because what a white man want to Africa is that when the master say that do this, you have to do it, and if you don't do this, then there can be a repercussion. And if you know, Julius Malema once was called an international war criminal by Elon Musk, and he was like, "It's okay, we are free, and that's what we are. What we are fighting for. It's right free. We are fighting and claiming right free. What he is us. Why he want to force us to give you something that we like something is for us? We are true. We don't want your need. We don't need your aid, your foreign aid. We have to encourage the Africans to depend on themselves. We want the South Africa to remain independent. We want the land of South Africa to be native to the South Africans. That's why Malema always said that we are not afraid of it. We are not scared of it. We are claiming what we believe that it's us. And I like the statement that he has previously made, saying that Donald Trump should know that United States, South Africa is not the puppets, is not their puppets. They have their land. They know what to do with their land. They don't need someone to come outside South Africa and come to command them and tell them what they have to do with their land, what they have to do with their resources, what they have to do with everything that times told me that sometimes we for this journey of uniting Africa is a great journey that needs a lot of sacrifice. It needs a lot of sacrifice. And as Julius Malema said, that nothing good comes without pain. Nothing good comes without pain. And for the South African and Africans at large, what they are expecting to get from this dormitory from the West people, it is not something that can come just like sweetness. People have to sweat for it. People have to fight, die for it. They have to fight to get this independence they want. Because, the people from West always feel like the African are still under their feet. The land of Africa still belongs to them. They believe that we have nothing to gain. And that's why Donald Trump believes that no South African land, no land is no land in South Africa belongs to the South Africans. They are the one dominating this land, and they are the one who has the right to come and give out these title deeds and come to do with this land for whatever they want. And it's not easy to get what we want as Africans. We long time ago fight and fought for this freedom, but this freedom that we are having today is not what we supposed to have. What we are having is not a freedom, because what is happening in Africa today is being controlled by the people we don't sometimes even know. It's being controlled by the people we don't see them, but they are the one controlling us. They're the one deciding on what to happen in our land, Africa. That's why Julius Malema said that they are prepared and they are ready to face anything that could come. They are ready to face anything that can come and make them not to succeed their mission of uniting Africa and fighting and reclaiming what belongs to South Africa. So I like this statement that Julius Malema said about there is nothing product or no product that can be validated in South Africa without the validation of the white people or the white supremacists. There is no talent that should be recognized without the validation of white people. There is nothing good that can come out in the land of South Africa without the validation of South Africa. If it happens so, then it means that this thing is not original, or it's not original and produced in South Africa without the validation of West or white people. I just want your opinion. I just want you to tell you. What do you think about these foreign aids? What do you think about these foreign aids, the support that has been removed in in African countries? Because we believe that this was the tools that were being binding us between these people and us, because they believe that we have to follow what they want. We have to do what they want, and whenever we go against their will, then they have to cut off. They have to cut off their fundings, their supports. Is it right? Do you think is it right? We still need to depend on these foreign aids, or we have to rely on our Africans products and resources? So, as I said before, I don't want to react much and repeat to what he has said. Tell me what you think on the comment section, as you have listened to the video or the speech of Julius Malema when he was in the Parliament of South Africa and was trying to validate his speech against the policies that were to be supported and they were issued by the Donald Trump, the president of United States. Donald Trump is fighting so hard to dominate the land of South Africa, because that is South Africa is the countries in Africa that has been developed for a very long time, and this is the place that the white people are there in large numbers, and the white people are there. They are the one who are controlling the economy of South Africa. They are there. They have been dominated there for a very long time, and they are running the economy of this country. And he believes well that when he can manage and make to dominate this country, then he can have a power and he can have the big say in the African land, because African lands is being under control under South Africa, because South Africa is the most developed country in Africa. So do you think what Malema is defending and talking about, is he right, or he should let West people to come and dominate our land? Stay tuned until next episode. From where you are watching, I thank for your time. Don't forget to subscribe. Kenyan Pro. Here is the place we talk and explore. We find out the truth and expose to the world. We talk about our African leaders, these people who are standing firm to defend the dignity of Africa. We are in full support. When we are behind them, we need the full support of Africans, not only the leaders, but all the Africans, the common citizens, and everyone who is in Africa and Caribbean and beyond the boundaries of Africa. Wherever you are, we need your support as we are on this journey. We have to fight together this journey of uniting Africa. This is the place to be. Don't forget to subscribe to Kenyan Sora. Until next episode.